I'm pleased to be able to join my colleague, Senator Cardin, who's the ranking member on the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee, as well as Minority Leader Schumer. And I'm pleased that the chairman of the Small Business Committee, Senator Rubio, is also here, because Senator Cardin, Senator Rubio, Senator Collins, and myself all worked on the Paycheck Protection Program and the small business provisions that are in the CARES package that we passed over 5 weeks ago. And I'm proud of our efforts to negotiate in a bipartisan way to help small businesses get through this crisis. Not only did we pass in that first CARES package $350 billion to help small business, but just a couple of weeks ago, Congress also came together to pass an additional $370 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Programs. And our intent in passing that legislation was to deliver relief to small businesses that are truly hurting. Small business are the lifeblood of this economy nationally, really, and certainly in New Hampshire, where 99% of our businesses are considered small business. They employ over 50% of the New Hampshire workforce. And in New Hampshire, 20,000 small businesses and nonprofits have received over $2.5 billion in low-interest forgivable loans under the Paycheck Protection Program. But there have been challenges. We've heard some of those stories from small businesses that weren't able to access this assistance because some larger businesses got into the queue ahead of them. Some of those large publicly traded companies who had a relationship with their lender, and so they were able to get in early. And we need information if we were going to correct the things that haven't been working about this program. That's why the legislation that Senator Cardin and I and Senator Schumer are introducing, I think, would be so helpful. The Trump administration and Congress need to be held accountable for implementation of these programs. And in order to do that, we've got to have oversight, as Senator Cardin said. Transparency is fundamental. We need to ensure that assistance is going to the small businesses and nonprofits that need it most. And Senator Cardin listed off a number of those companies, the women-owned companies, minority-owned companies. Well, we also need to think about those businesses that have fewer than 10 employees, those mom-and-pop shops that really need help, who may not have as long a relationship with their lender or may not have any relationship with the lender. All we're asking for today is a measure that would provide the bare minimum that this administration should provide to ensure that these programs are functioning as Congress intended. This is common sense legislation. All it would do is require the Small Business Administration to provide daily reporting on PPP and EIDL loans, to provide more detailed weekly reports on these programs, and to make this information publicly available, while at the same time protecting borrower and participant privacy. You know, we've heard the horror stories about problems with this program. There have also been a lot of success stories, but the public isn't going to know both sides of that unless there is reporting and transparency so that people know what's working and what's not working. The bill would also ensure that PPP and EIDL funds are reaching underserved and underbanked borrowers. It would establish an early warning system for the SBA and for Congress so that we could figure out how to respond to things that weren't working and when we're expecting an additional funding shortfall. These proposals shouldn't be controversial. These are all things that I've heard people on both sides of the aisle talking about supporting. What they will do is allow Congress to perform our basic oversight responsibilities and foster public confidence in the integrity of these programs. And perhaps most important, these improvements will help make sure that the limited resources that are available are getting to the small businesses that need them the most. So thank you very much, Madam President. I yield the floor.